frozen.
It's frozen? It's saying live 13.
Well, now we're live. Okay, finally. I don't know what was going on. I had a little spinny thingy. But we are live. Guess what, guys? The Bitter Dingbats. We normally don't disagree. We agree pretty much about, I'd say, about 69% of the time. But this is an occurrence where we disagree. And, this is a show idea that started in a chat between Philly.500, Broads, and I, because Philly.500 is freaking out about the wide receivers. He's freaking out. He's going nuts. He wants Antonio Brown, and I think he's crazy. So Philly.500 is here. I am Adrian Fedq. We are the Bitter Dingbats, and we are here to discuss the Eagles wide receivers because Philly.500 is not liking what he's seeing.
Yo, everybody doing? King Dingbat is here, and that's right. I am out. I am out of the closet when it comes to Antonio Brown. No homo, but I think there's a big point to be made. There is a big problem with this wide receiving core, and it's not going to get better unless we do something about it. So, yes, it is time. It is time to take a hard look at getting Antonio Brown. And I'm dead serious. I am not joking.
Why do you want him so bad? You want him. You want him desperately.
Because he's top 2-3 wide receiver in the National Football League already. Is he not? He could come in and play right away and be productive right away. We saw what he did first week. He played with New England Patriots. And here's the thing. One of the complaints about Carson Wentz is always he holds the ball too long. Russell Wilson, at times Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben. Antonio Brown feasts. He is fantastic at feeling when a quarterback is holding the ball or moving and getting open. He made a living with Big Ben holding the ball too long and getting open. He's the perfect receiver for Carson Wentz from on-the-field type play. He's the guy that Carson needs right now.
All right, so my first rebuttal isn't even going to be sports related. I'm going to start it out with a. I'm going to go with this. Okay, so let's say you're chasing a girl, right? You're going after her for about a month, and you start getting real desperate. How does that look towards the girl? It doesn't look too good. You don't want to ever show desperation towards the girl. You're the Eagles right now. You're Howie Roseman. This would be major desperation to sign Antonio Brown right now. What would it say to the locker room? Well, how would the locker room react to this? We've been a team of culture for all of these years, 5 years now, whatever how long it's been, 3-4 years with Doug Peterson. And all of a sudden, now you want to change that because we're 3-3, 6 games into the season? You want to bring Antonio Brown in, a cancer? No, I don't want him.
Look, you can be as desperate as you want for that girl. But if she promises you give the little truffle shuffle and the piss pump, are you going to say no? No, you're not.
No, I am saying no. Because I want the whole thing. I want the whole pocket. I want the entire pocket. I don't want just the truffle shuffle. I want everything.
Right. So you could be as desperate you want, but if she offers it, you're taking it.
Does AB even look play in the NFL?
Hell yeah, he's ready. He's ready to go. And let me tell you this. There's a difference between sending a message to the locker room and those kind of things. What you're sending the message to the locker room is, we believe in you, but you need help. You think these players are stupid enough to not know that Aguilar stinks, that Mac Hollins stinks, that Arcega-Whiteside's not ready, that Deshaun Jackson, as Doug Peterson said, will not be 100% all year. They all know it. The locker room will love Howie Roseman for it. They will love him for it. No team has even wanted to sniff Antonio Brown. Obviously, with these allegations. The allegations are gone. They're done. The reason why he was cut was the allegations and him texting the girl. The NFL investigation, from everything we're hearing, is going to conclude pretty soon, and it's going to be nothing. There's no charges. There's no criminal investigation. There's nothing. It's settled. His suit, whatever. It's all done. It's all behind him. How can this guy, with 8 or 9 games left to play, hurt this team? He's not going to come in and be a cancer. You may never get him in in better behavior than now. He is a guy that is about his legacy, wants to go in the Hall of Fame. He screws this up with the Eagles or any team, he'll never get paid. I'm not saying you sign him 2 years, 3 years. I'm saying for the year. No guaranteed money, cheap. And you probably it's no risk. There's no risk in bringing this guy in. We have rats in our locker room already. It doesn't matter to me. Bring them in. To me, this is the biggest no-brainer since you took that truffle shuffle on the piss pump.
I love the truffle shuffle. Let me tell you, I need to get that pretty soon. Not from Antonio Brown, though.
Hey, Kraft knows someplace.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Listen, he's just somebody that I just don't want to touch. He's already ruined 2 football teams. He went to the Patriots. He's only there for a week. Obviously, the allegations are the reason why he got released. But it's like I just don't want to mess with that. I don't want to mess with the culture. I just think everything right now is kind of in a limbo. And I feel like once Deshaun Jackson comes back, things will be a little bit better. And I also think that there are other things that could really help out the receiving core, like the defense actually getting off to better starts. So, I believe that, that is really hurting the Eagles offense because it's limiting their playbook and their play selection because you're getting down 24-3, you're getting down 17-3 or whatever it is each and every week, and you have to play from behind, you have to throw the ball. They want to run 12 personnel. They want to run the ball. They want to play with Jordan Howard and that offensive line, banging them with the tight ends, and then use the play action. Well, you can't run the ball if you're down 24-3 every week. So I think a lot of this is if the defense starts to play a little bit better, the offense starts to play a little bit better, and all of a sudden we're going to see the Eagles start playing better overall. But easier said than done because they haven't played well in the first half since 2017.
Maybe. But can you imagine what Antonio Brown? What was his statistics last year? Do you know offhand? I don't remember what it was. I'm guessing he had over 100 catches because he's had over 100 catches for like 5 straight years. Some ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
A Hall of Fame wide receiver who nobody wants.
Well, that's going to change. Somebody's going to take him real soon. I bet within the next few weeks he signs with a team. And it should be the Eagles because the Eagles need him. Look, he comes in, he signs with the Eagles, no guaranteed money. Everything he does is about proving that he's worth another contract, that he could go somewhere next year. He is going to be on his best behavior. He just is. And
Do we know that, though?
Well, let's say he's not. Let's say he comes in and he's an asshole. You cut him. What do you lose? You're not paying him a lot of money. What do you lose? You lose nothing. What did New England really lose getting rid of him? Nothing. I mean, I don't get it. There's
what they lost? They lost a couple truffle shuffles. That's what they lost.
They're still undefeated. I mean, they didn't lose anything. You can't lose anything. I think he would come in. He would be very happy. So then the first few weeks, you get him all happy, and then he starts playing a little bit. And then before you know it, it's the end of the year. He's a free agent. He can go anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think it hurts at all. I think it's a no risk, all reward type thing. I guarantee you.
He ruined the Raiders. He went to the Raiders, then he didn't even play a game with them because he was like so terrible and just so freaking immature about everything. And then the Steelers too. So he's ruined 2 franchises. Then he goes to the Patriots. Obviously, he didn't ruin them or anything.
Big Ben kind of started it with him. I mean, calling him out on the radio and those kind of things. That's not going to happen with the Eagles.
You know what I hated? I hated the way he reacted after he was cut by the Raiders. Dude, look. Listen. You're a 6th-round pick from Central Michigan. Be grateful that you're even in the NFL. Okay?
Dude is a Hall of Famer. What do you mean?
Be grateful that you're even in the NFL. You're acting like a fucking petulant child.
Dude owns the NFL. What do you mean? Look at his numbers. There's nobody has better numbers. There's no big time wide receiver than Antonio Brown. I don't think there's a better receiver in the league, to be honest with you.
Unfortunately, like Terrell Owens, he ruins teams.
He gave us one good year.
He did.
I can get one good year out of Antonio Brown. I guarantee it. I think Doug, being a player's coach, can get 1 year. I believe it. I believe this is the move you have to make. It costs you nothing. Nothing.
I think this goes back to the whole conversation I had earlier where you're showing lots of desperation. It's not a good look for the team. And it's going to – this team's been all about culture. Now all of a sudden you're going to bring in a cancer. I don't like it.
You have a team – you have a locker room that is supposed to be a good culture, which is supposed to allow you to do these kind of things. And sometimes you have to take a risk. And the reality of the situation with the Eagles is their wide receivers are not good. Alshon Jeffrey is, but he's hurt. They double-team Zach Ertz, take him away, put one-on-one Alshon, and Carson has nothing. Drop after drop after drop. I'm sick of it. I know Antonio Brown fits what Carson Wentz does. I know he makes a huge impact. He backs everybody up. He changes the way you play that whole offense. And all I need from him is 8 or 9 good games. This is a football team. We're not running monk plays. We're not priests. We don't need choir boys. We need football players. He is that. And if he could give me 8, 9 weeks, I'm gonna take advantage of it. I gotta take a chance. I am desperate. I am, because I believe these receivers stink.
The Eagles are not 2-4 or 1-5. They are 3-3, and with a win on Sunday, they will be in first place in the NFC East.
I want Super Bowls, not divisions.
They are a Super Bowl contender this year, even though they're 3-3. I am not afraid of anybody in the NFC. They went to Green Bay and beat them at Lambeau Field. I'm not afraid of San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, well, then that's even more of a reason to put yourself over the top, to bring a guy like that in and put yourself over the top and go out and win. 8 or 9 weeks, he is going to be on his best behavior because he knows if he does, then he can go somewhere else. Somebody will take a risk on him and pay him because of how he was in Philly. This is a guy that has his last chance, and it cost us nothing to give him a chance. Cost us nothing. And then the players like it because they go, oh, look at the ownership. They believe in second chances. People hated when we signed Mike Vick. Mike Vick was in prison. They hated it. But Philly.500 loved it. And the players loved it. And even Giant players were saying, the Eagles organization, top class, giving people second chances. That's what we need to do with Antonio Brown. Like I said in my video yesterday, I don't care that Antonio Brown farts in doctors' faces. Nelson Aguilar has been farting in our faces for years. And that's the truth. That's the truth.
I'm just, no. Not feeling it. Not feeling it.
Read off his last 5 years statistics.
Okay, but he's also ruined 2 teams. I mean, what are the Steelers like? He got himself traded from the Steelers, and then the Steelers are now shit. They never wanted. They didn't win anything with Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown. They didn't win anything. And then the Raiders screwing them.
Well, the Raiders, you can make an argument, but I mean the Steelers, I don't think he did anything. If you remember what happened, Ben calls him out. He hurts his leg. He goes to the coach. He says, coach, last game of the year, my legs hurt. What do you want me to do? And he says, go home. And they sent him home. And they didn't play him. And he was pissed off. He asked for a trade. That's exactly what happened with Antonio Brown. And here's the other thing. People have said he's the hardest worker out of any players they've ever seen. He's one of the hardest working wide receivers in the National Football League. All I'm saying is the thing that people are scared about, the cancer part, is basically null and void because he's not going to risk his legacy, hit one more big paycheck, millions of dollars to come to Philly and screw up. He'll be on his best behavior. I guarantee it. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee that.
It's hard. See, here's the difference between Michael Vick and Antonio Brown. Michael Vick was a changed man when he came back to the NFL. Antonio Brown is still the same guy. He's still a prick. He's still a cancer. He's still an asshole. He's still that guy.
You know what? There are assholes on this roster. There are assholes in media that you deal with. There's people there are assholes out there. You just deal with them. You go to work and you deal with them like every day. Everybody else in this world goes to work with assholes. They're everywhere. And he is one. Sure, I'm not saying he's not a little goose.
He's very good. And there's going to be constant drama each and every week with him.
I don't know that. I think he's going to be a choir boy. I think the only thing they're going to have to deal with is the initial media frenzy, and then he goes out and plays football, and the Eagles go on a tear. So I think
I think they could go on a tear without him.
Maybe. I'm not saying they couldn't, but I'm just saying if you want to solve a lot of this crap, he's the answer, and he's sitting out there for nothing. For nothing.
See, I think there are other problems though too than just wide receiver.
There is. There is.
See, I don't even think wide receiver is one of the bigger issues on the team. I think it's cornerback. I think it's D-line. I think defense is the bigger issue here than offense.
I do too, but I don't think the Eagles are going to have the opportunity to get a quality player at one of those two positions. I don't know that they will. Maybe Chris Harris Jr. Maybe you could find a pass rusher. I feel like they had their chance with Clowney and with Ramsey, and they didn't take it. And I feel like the only way to nullify some of the problems you have on defense is you have to be better on offense. You have to score more points. And the only way I can see doing that is you got to get a healthy Deshaun Jackson back, or you have to get another receiver. And to me, the guy that costs you nothing, and he's even cheaper than some of the guys that you would trade for and is better, is sitting out there. And all I need is 8 good weeks from him. 8 good weeks. He could do that.
He couldn't give you 8 good weeks in Oakland.
Yeah, but it was different. You know what I mean? That is one of the things that happened. What happened in New England, this is last chance material. This is last chance material. If he doesn't get it, if he screws up, the Eagles cut him. It's not going to cost them anything. It's not going to cost them anything. He's not going to screw up on the field, right? We could agree with that. He is not a screw up on the field. He comes, he plays hard, he works hard, right? It's when he's there, he's not going to screw you up, screw this team on the field. I don't believe he's going to talk about players in that locker room. All 3 of those things is not going to happen. We have somebody doing that right now that I think is a bigger problem than bringing a guy who's a diva. All we have to deal with Antonio Brown is off the field crap for 8 or 9 weeks. I can do that. I can do it.
All right, so we're going to get into the rat stuff right now that is being completely overblown. I'm going to tell you guys about this. But, all right, so a couple things. Josina Anderson said this on NFL Live on Thursday, and this is from a anonymous Eagles source. We need to make bleep simpler. We need to make shit simpler. I guess that's what he tried to say. Sometimes we need to just handle what is manageable. Even Peyton Manning knew when to check it down. Carson Wentz right now is 38% on passes that travel 15 air yards, has 3 interceptions on passes like that, which is tied for most in the league. He also has 148 passes on those that are 10 yards or fewer. Right now, he has 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions on passes like that. So I do think it is an appointment. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but there we go. There's the quote from an anonymous Eagles player. Now listen, these things happen during the season, and this is a situation where frustrations got the better of somebody, and I'm telling you right now, this has already been talked out with Carson Wentz. Whoever this was has already talked with Carson Wentz, and this is already behind him. The media likes to stir this up and blow it up more than it really is. Like this isn't a big deal. This is a locker room issue that's already been handled, and I'm sure it's over with. But I know a lot of people in Philly and the radio stations are really blowing this up, so it's obviously making a huge issue here in the city.
I have look. I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart, and it has come to my attention that this was done last year, 8 days before the Eagles played the Cowboys. The quote, the part of the quote that is weird to me is the throwing out.
Honestly, it may be a made up quote. This may not even be a real quote.
Yeah, because they're throwing out statistics. That seems very odd to me that a player would do that. So I'm starting to wonder and question that maybe this thing is not just bullcrap 100%. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it is true. If you're right and the player confronted Carson Wentz and talked to him, fine. But if they didn't talk to Carson Wentz and they just put this out there and ratted laundry of what's going on in that locker room, I have a big problem with that. I have a big problem with whoever it is needs to be found and gone, as far as I'm concerned, because that's the kind of stuff that, if it's not dealt with, you'll see other players start doing. It'll linger on. It will talk about corrosive to your locker room. That's it.
This is something where it's like, all right, it happens in the heat of the moment. It's frustrations are coming out. Now, when Carson and this particular player talk, this is where Carson goes, hey, listen, don't talk to the media. You come to me. Any issue that you have from now moving forward, you come to me. You don't talk to Josina Anderson. You don't talk to anybody. You come to me. So hopefully this is like one of those things where it's a turning point for this particular player and Carson. Where now, honestly, I think it was all Sean Jeffrey. That's my guess. But I don't even know if the quote is real. This was a debate Sean Brace and I had on the Daily Ticket. He doesn't even think that he thinks this is a made up quote. Basically,
yeah, I think it very well could be a made-up quote. I mean, just because when you the whole thing with the throwing out statistics like that just sounds off to me.
Yeah, and then there was this other quote on Jalen Ramsey. We dropped the ball. I don't even want to talk about that. Everybody knew what it was going to take to get him. I could have told you that. So again, it just sounds like somebody who was frustrated. Probably happened right after Jalen Ramsey was acquired by the Rams. So, you're getting that frustration in the heat of the moment. And again, I don't think things like this are that. Now, it's funny that I say I don't think things like this are that big of a deal when we're talking about, Antonio Brown, the same fucking show. So I sound like a big hypocrite. But Antonio Brown is on a different level of drama.
Not at all. What is he going to do? Land on a helicopter?
He's going to do. Yeah, he will land on a helicopter. He's going to make YouTube videos about it.
Who cares? Who cares? If he goes out and he plays some, like I said, we're not looking for priests. We're not looking for Boy Scouts. We are looking for guys that could come in and play football. And you got it. You the whole reason you want a good culture in your locker room is so you can bring in this kind of guy when the picking is right at this kind. I know he's nuts. You're not getting an argument, but I think that because of everything that happened with him in Oakland, with him at New England, he has no choice but to be on his best behavior. I'm willing to put up with some of his crap. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. Just give me 8 or 9 good weeks. And then he's gone. He goes somewhere else. That's it. That's all I need.
What if would you want them to try and trade for somebody?
Yeah, I think you have to at this point. I don't think they're trading for a cornerback. I don't believe they are, because I think that they're committed to these young guys, and I believe they think we're going to get healthy. We're getting Darby. We're getting Mills back. Let these young guys play and go through this. Hopefully they start playing better at the end of the year. I don't think they're going. I think they could go defensive end possibly if somebody's out there. I think they're going wide receiver. I think they're going wide receiver because Deshaun is not going to be Deshaun the rest of the year. They need a wide receiver. Bad. They need it bad.
I keep hearing about Von Miller. I don't think that's going to happen. No. Because he's like a 3-4 guy. And by the way, there's someone in this comment section saying that it was Zach Brown was the rat. Zach Brown got cut before Ramsey got traded, so it wasn't Zach Brown. Right. There are a lot of so there's somebody going at me like calling me an idiot basically. So whatever.
You an idiot or me an idiot?
Well, he's not calling me an idiot, but he's just using the LOLs and being stupid.
I just saw a thing pop up on my phone. Mark Holmes going after me about AB. I don't care. I don't care. I firmly believe what I believe, man. I believe the Eagles should get him. The other crap doesn't. See, I don't need. I'm not overly PC. I don't care what people do in a personal life. If they're not committing a crime, I can give two shits. I seriously. You think Jerome Brown was a Boy Scout? He went to church every day before practice. He was out till 5 a.m. partying, doing.
Jerome Brown is me. That's who I am.
Then he went to practice and kicked everybody's ass. Went home, took a nap, and did it again. You don't need choir boys. You're playing football. I would take the diva for 8 or 9 weeks. I'm not saying long-term commitment. I understand. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need a wide receiver bad. And you have to admit, from a football standpoint, Adrian, from a football standpoint, if you insert his talent into this offense, how much does it change this offense?
I mean, it changes it, but again, you have to deal with his antics. And
No. Forget that. Let's just talk football. The football player Antonio Brown, what he gives his teams no matter what. You insert that into this offense, everything changes. Boy.
Okay. So it changes, but if it causes the riff in the locker room, all of a sudden your team is fucked.
But you're assuming that it's going to cause a riff. I have no reason to assume it. You tell me what players have hated Antonio Brown that he's played with.
Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of the guys on the Steelers hate him.
A lot of that team love him. They loved him.
I don't know, man. The Raiders didn't like him either. They got rid of him too. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the risk in doing all this. And
I don't think the Eagles would do it. And I don't.
I definitely don't think he's gonna. I
don't think they'll do it because I don't think they want the PC shitstorm that comes with it. Me, I don't give a shit about that. You know, but they won't do it because it's politically incorrect. And to me, I have no problem with it.
Yeah. All right. Well.
So what receivers are out there then? Who do we get? We got to get somebody.
A couple weeks ago, my guy was Robbie Anderson, but now that he had a huge game against the Cowboys, I don't know so much because I'm thinking like get a speed guy. If Deshaun Jackson can't stay healthy, you get somebody who can stretch the field, and Robbie Anderson certainly is capable of that. Another package that I was kind of joking about, or not joking about, but talking about with Brendan was if you want to get some guys from the Bengals, maybe Geno Atkins, and then package him with AJ Green. He's going to be coming off.
I like Geno Atkins. I just the only thing about AJ Green is I just worry how healthy he is.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want AJ Green, and I don't think he's a guy that can stretch the field anyway.
What about Devontae Parker?
Yeah, that's interesting. We've debated on him. I don't like him.
No, but he's been a decent deep threat this year from what I've heard in Miami. I haven't watched too many Miami games, but but from what I've heard, he's been a decent deep threat. I mean, he's a guy that has 2 years left on his contract too. He's an option year next year.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson is my guy. That's the guy. I would love
Robbie Anderson, but are the Jets going to do it?
The problem is now is like the leverage now. You don't have it as much because he just came off a good game, and if Darnold has that, cohesion with him, I don't know if they'd want to get rid of him. So.
And just think, all the guys we're talking about, you have to give up compensation for. Antonio Brown, you don't have to give up crap. And you know what? Antonio Brown is way better than all of them. Not by a little bit, by miles. Miles. You're talking Julio Jones type talent, like on that tier. Julio Jones, top tier. I don't think Odell Beckham, because I'm sure people are saying his name in the chat. I don't believe the Browns are trading Odell Beckham. I never thought that for a minute. But I think you have to go wide receiver here, man. I think you have to go wide receiver before the trade deadline because you need it. Because, I mean, how are you supposed to move the ball downfield if your receivers can't get open or catch?
Yeah. All right, so let's let's just focus on defense real quick. I know this is more of a wide receiver show, but because you talked about don't trade for a cornerback, right? I'm having some big issues with the defensive line, and there was a stat that I saw a couple weeks ago, and now I've figured out what the stat is actually about. The pressure rate stat. So Eagles right now, if you take away the Jets game, they're averaging less than a sack a game. And the people that would rebuttal against the people who say, the Eagles aren't pressuring the quarterback, they go back and use this pressure stat. Well, the pressure rate stat is how they pressure the quarterback. That also includes when they blitz. The reason why the Eagles have to blitz so much this year is because they're not getting the defensive line pressure. So that's leaving less guys out of coverage. It's making it easier for the quarterbacks. And the difference between this year and the last couple, if you remember, teams would game plan against the Eagles. Get the ball out quick, 3-step drops. This year, I'm seeing play actions. I mean, Kirk Cousins is bootlegging. He's got all the time in the world. This is the issue more so than the cornerbacks, I think.
I agree. Totally agree with you. Back when I was growing up, it was not considered like the greatest thing in the world if every time you rushed the quarterback, you almost got there. At some point, you have to get home. We called it the Mike Mamula syndrome because Mike Mamula could always just almost got there, but he never got there. And at some point, you have to get home. You have to get home. And look, Derek Barnett is a first-round pick. I need him to get home more. I mean, I don't think he's had a great start this year. I like the way Brandon Graham has played, but we definitely have a problem with the pass rush. And I would have no problem going out and getting a pass rusher who's out there. I know the Falcons put Beasley on the trade block, but he doesn't wow me. The kid from Jacksonville is the kid I would try to pluck. Yannick Ngakoue or whatever.
Yannick Ngakoue? Yeah.
He's in the last year of his deal.
He is a beast. Yannick Ngakoue is a beast. I don't know if that's possible because he's going to cost something, but he is a beast. Yannick Ngakoue.
I mean, he's going to cost you a lot, but
yes,
I would consider him because he would be one of those guys who is young. See, I don't mind giving up the pick if the kid's young and can be a foundational player. I believe he could do that. You know, but I don't know if they're gonna what they're gonna do with him. They just trade Jalen Ramsey. It's got to free up a lot of money for them to maybe sign him. So I just don't know. They also got the kid they drafted last year. So I mean, maybe they let him go. Maybe they trade him. He's the guy. He would be my number one target on the defensive line.
Ngakoue?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Vic Beasley. The problem with him is I don't know if Jim Schwartz would want him because he can't stop the run. And Jim Schwartz is like real big on guys who can stop the run. So I mean, it's like while we comment and on the Eagles' pass rush and it not getting hope, they are stopping the run at a great.
Well, I'm a little scared about the run, though. I'm not gonna lie. You got Zach Brown cut and Nigel Bradham's out.
Yeah.
So now you have Grugier Hill and Duke Riley trying to stop Zeke Elliott.
Nate Jarrett, yeah.
Nate Garrett, you know what I mean?
Now, Zach Brown, I'll say this: he was bad. He was terrible.
Terrible.
He was wow. I couldn't believe how bad he was. Because like he's known for his run defense, but he's not known going sideline to sideline, and that's how they were taking advantage of him. So they were taking advantage of him in coverage. Whenever they would run a crossing route, they would wait until they got in his zone and they'd throw at him, or they'd run wide on him, which is what I saw Alexander Madison do last week. So he was bad, and he got cut, and it was the right move, I think, because
I have no problem with them cutting him. I had no problem with it.
Yeah, it was a statement cut. You wanted it. You asked for it in our recap show, and you got it.
Did.
They watched our show. They listened.
They listened, and I hope they're listening today. Howie Roseman, get on the phone. Antonio Brown,
Well, it depends who he's listening to. Is he listening to you, or is he listening to me?
But I said cut. Somebody make a statement, and that's exactly what they did. And I think it was the right move. You had to do it.
Yeah. Now I like T.J. Edwards,
I do
so
too.
he might be a guy who benefits from this. And
We could use a break where we get a guy, under that comes out and is a player. We need a break like that.
Yeah. So I think now, trying to think now. Now, in terms of cornerbacks, I mean, there are guys you can still trade for. Patrick Peterson, Chris Harris are like the two names that are being brought about most. I've also seen Xavier Howard's name brought up, but he did get signed by the Dolphins. So before the season, which something I didn't know until a couple weeks or until this week actually.
Brendan, I didn't know that either. But I did look at his contract last week, and yeah, he just signed, and it's like $15 million a year.
Yeah, it's not. You're not going to.
I mean, he was my choice. I wanted because of once again, he's 26 years old. I'm trying to get a little bit younger. Patrick Peterson, Chris Harris. I really don't think the Eagles are going to do that, man. I really don't. And maybe it's the timing of getting Darby and Jalen Mills back. I think because of that, and you got 2 weeks before the deadline, I think they're going to trust those corners. I think it's going to be wide receiver or defensive end is where they're going to make a move. And let me ask you the question. You make a move at defensive end. Are you making a statement to Derek Barnett? Are you telling him he's not been good enough?
I feel like it's the depth. I mean, Derek Barnett isn't getting there maybe as much as we would like, but I feel like the depth is a problem too. It's because last year that second unit was Chris Long and Michael Bennett.
Right.
So now it's Vinny Curry and who is it? Josh Sweat?
Yeah.
And those guys aren't getting home.
They don't get home.
Deshaun Hall ain't even playing.
That Michael Bennett move, I did not want to lose.
I hate it when it happened. I still hate it.
I did too, because he really had a big impact on that defensive line last year. And of course, Fletcher Cox is not healthy. He hasn't been close to 100%, and that hurts.
I think last week was the first game where I saw him finally kind of get going.
Yeah.
Me
too.
I saw.
Hopefully, he gets going tomorrow.
He needs to get going tomorrow because he's going against Zach Martin. So
yeah,
that's going to be a lot of fun as a football guy to watch that.
Yeah. They got to do something, man. Look, I think I said in the offseason the Deshaun Jackson trade was single-handedly the most important trade and move for the Eagles because it changed the way defenses would have to play you. But if you look at it, 2 years in a row, we lose our speed wide receiver, Mike Wallace, and now Deshaun Jackson. And then Doug Peterson comes out and says, even when Deshaun comes back, he's going to be far from 100%. Well, that doesn't really help me because what I need from Deshaun Jackson is his speed. And they struggle spreading out these defenses, That's why I don't understand the check down comment because everything is a short pass. Defenses are way up, challenging the Eagles to go downfield, and they don't have anybody that can do it. I think you got to get a receiver, man.
Yeah. All right. You want to take some comments?
Yeah, I'm sure people have stuff to say.
Well, Andrew Supley doesn't think that the Eagles are going to bring in a defensive end. Yeah, I can't see how you bring in a defensive end after getting rid of Bennett and forcing out Long just to give Barnett snaps. All right, you got to understand, they like to rotate 4 guys and play them all. So it's so like you got rid of Bennett and you got rid of Long to give it. You didn't get rid of them to give Barnett more snaps, so to speak. You got rid of those guys because they're getting older, and then Michael Bennett wanted more money, and Chris Long retired. So that's what happened there. And I'm curious. I'll have to look at the snap percentage. I wonder if they're getting more snaps this year because the backups aren't producing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that we know the Eagles love to rotate. They've always done it, and I think Josh Sweat and I think Vinny Curry have not gotten home. They really haven't. I think Derek Barnett coming back from injury, the first few weeks he was unhealthy. I think at times he looks good, at times he does not. I really think the best defensive player on that line has been Brandon Graham. Yes. He's the only guy that shows consistency week in and week out. And I think that losing Michael Bennett really hurt the Eagles.
I'm looking at snap counts, and it looks like this. I mean, Brandon Graham is playing about 75% of the snaps, which is, I think, it's more than he would usually play. I'm trying to find Derek Barnett. So first week, 82%, 76%, 67, 75, 73, 80%. That's a lot of snaps for a Jim Schwartz rotated defensive line.
Yeah, so that's telling us what you suspected.
That's telling us that the backups
aren't
and they need to get more snaps.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think they've given Deshaun Hall a fair chance. I mean, he's gotten a couple
according
snaps
to the snap counts, they have not. He's only played in the last 2 games, and he's only got 10 snaps all season.
I think he needs more snaps, dude.
He has 10 snaps. Josh Sweat has 112.
I'd give him more snaps and Josh Sweat less, to be honest with you. You know, I've not been impressed with Josh Sweat since preseason. Me and you have talked about this.
Yeah.
I just haven't. I mean, he's had a couple moments where I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to get going, and then he doesn't. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The numbers don't lie, though.
They never lie. Let's see. We need a corner or a deep threat that can catch, says Juan Garcia.
Yep.
Bennett only got $1 million more from the Patriots.
I would have kept Bennett.
Oh my God! And I remember when I said I wanted Bennett, the Eagles fans were getting after me because
yeah.
What a legit 4106 goes. What about Goodwin for deep threat trade if San Francisco? Well, they're 5-0. They're not going to trade him.
No, Niners aren't trading him. No.
Yeah.
And I've even heard people mention Mike Evans. And I don't think Tampa Bay is getting rid of Mike Evans.
That's unrealistic.
You know, Odell Beckham, he's not coming. Mike Evans not coming. You know, to me, the guys I think have a chance are Emmanuel Sanders if Denver loses. If Denver doesn't lose next week, if they win next week, they're not trading anybody because they're going to try to stay in this thing. I think Devontae Parker may be the best name out there. Him and Emmanuel Sanders.
So we got a couple people. Let's see. Mr. Wake Up, it's a trap. Wants Albert Wilson. John Gotti, T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's not going to get traded. Is that me?
No.
That is me. That was on the Philadelphia Eagles snap count. Man. Shade trade for one of the Chiefs' speedy receivers. Well, you got to see the thing here is if you want to make a trade to work, it has to be with the right partner. Got to have the right partner to dance.
You got to have a team that is looking at next year already, you know, or trying to unload money or stuff like that. That's what you have to do. Looking for assets. The team is in a playoff hunt, team that has a chance, is not going to trade anybody.
Yeah,
you know.
Legit 4-1 responds. The only reason why I asked is because I heard they weren't using it. MD 2789 goes, go get Patrick Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald or Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris. Enough with this dumb crap and drama.
I mean, I'm not going to complain getting any of those guys, but I don't know if, I don't know what Arizona consistently says they will not trade Patrick Peterson. I don't know if that's real or not. I have no idea.
I think it's a leverage play. I think it's a leverage play.
Yeah, it could be. It could be because what the owner did with Jacksonville with Ramsey to me was a leverage play too.
Malik Figgins says John Ross. John Ross is
on IR.
Is on IR until when? Do you know?
He just went on it recently.
Yeah, I know. I
don't know.
But man, that would be speed.
That would be speed. That's what you need. I don't know how long he's out for.
All right. So people. Was Sven Krusberg goes, why are you talking about wide receivers need help on defense? Big time, one corner, one defensive end. We've talked about defensive ends and corners already.
When you can't get a defensive player, the only way to help your defense is to improve your offense.
Yeah.
Score more points.
Joseph and Brandy Sanchez goes, Eagles need youth. And, that makes me think of this. They're the third oldest roster in the NFL, so everybody wants to trade for these players. Well, the only way you get younger is by keeping your draft picks.
Or trading for young players.
Well, that's too.
But I mean, the Eagles have to, no matter what happens this year, they have to trim the fat, man. They have to get younger. Now, I'll tell you what, some of those averages are blown up because you have guys Sproles and Jason Peters who are both really old, in terms of a football player. So it does get blown up a little bit. But I think there needs to be an effort, and I think it needs to start. To be honest with you, I think it needs to start in the skill position area to get younger. I think you need a young, speed, wide receiver like a Hollywood Brown would have been perfect. Somebody like that. They should have had an insurance policy for Deshaun. That's the big mistake they made.
Yeah. To go back on the draft, I didn't hate the pick at the time, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and he is only a rookie, so it's he's getting a lot of heat because of what other rookies are doing, and what these other rookies are doing is something that we're unaccustomed to seeing in the NFL. These wide receivers coming out their rookie seasons being this productive.
Well, look, I'm not giving up on Arcega-Whiteside, but when they would drafted him and that pick was on the board, I was calling for DK Metcalf. And right now, I think he would have been very welcomed here by me, because you need. He's fast and big. I don't get it. I think they blew that. But look, we'll see what Arcega-Whiteside becomes. But he's not fast. I need guys that are fast. This team I think even if you talk style, Carson Wentz is never going to be Nick Foles. He's never going to throw the ball away in 2 seconds. He is always going to keep the ball. He is always going to try to make the big play. That's his DNA. That's what we have with him. So you need to put receivers around him that can play with that kind of quarterback. And you got to get faster. They're too slow.
All right. Now, the only thing I will say about the receivers is this. Once you get Deshaun Jackson, I really do think it changes everything. As long as he's healthy, he can play.
But what if he's 50% and he doesn't have the speed?
Yeah, that's the problem. We don't know that. But if he does have the speed, I do think it changes a lot because all of a sudden you have versatility on a lot of different levels of play.
Changes everything. It changes everything. You get if you get Deshaun Jackson that we had versus Redskins, changes the whole complexion of this offense. Everything changes. That's why he's so important to this team.
Yeah. So you get him on the speed routes. You have Ertz down the seams. You have Alshon Jeffrey on the back shoulder. You have Miles Sanders screen game or whatever you want to use him, match up against linebackers. You have Dallas Goedert. All of a sudden that offense is unbelievable. But without Deshaun Jackson, you don't have the speed, and the defense isn't stretched out as much. So the windows are smaller for Carson.
Right, and they've been doubling Ertz, and then Alshon has not been able to run. They put one guy on him, and really our biggest deep threat is Miles Sanders on those wheel routes. He's been the biggest threat that we have.
I think he's got like the top 5 longest plays from the last couple of weeks or something.
Does he really?
I don't know what the stat was because it couldn't have been of the season because I know Deshaun got those 2 long balls in week 1.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
A lot of people want John Ross.
Look, John Ross is perfect because his speed would be great. I don't know how hurt he is. Somebody's got to find out how hurt he is.
I'll go check and see.
I know he was on the IR. I just don't know for how long.
He's in his 3rd year. He's young, so
perfect. Yeah, I would love John Ross. I'd be very excited about it.
Now, I'm trying here. Whenever I do a live stream, my internet is very slow. Injured reserve. Sorry for the wait.
Hopefully it's not the whole season.
Yeah, I don't think it's the whole season.
I'm not sure.
This is gonna take forever.
When you go on the IR in season after a certain week, then it becomes the whole year, right?
I think what it is you can bring 2 players back, and once you bring 2 players back, you can't bring any more back off the IR
after week 8.
Oh God, I put John Brown in there by accident instead of John Wall. They both the same freaking player. Jeez.
I know, right?
This is so frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Ross is what's going on with him. I just know he got hurt. I think it was a Monday night game.
Yeah, well,
might have been against the Steelers.
He's got a sternoclap. I'm not even going to try to say that. It's a shoulder injury.
Shoulder's okay. You can run with shoulder.
I'm trying to see where.
You could run with a bad shoulder.
I'm trying to see how long he's out. It doesn't say anything.
Maybe they don't know. Maybe it's just.
No surgery is scheduled. Ross is a candidate to return later in the season.
Okay.
But when?
Well, can you trade a guy on the IR that's on the IR?
Oh, I don't know.
See, because he has to come back literally within the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, you can't get him.
That might be true.
Covering good. We're gonna have to wait.
Where the hell is that coming from?
I'm gonna pay to do so. Here, give me the Redskins.
Not me. Somebody's taking the Redskins.
Someone took the Redskins. Someone took the Redskins?
I thought Miami was going. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Okay, man. All right.
Well, the 2 deadlines will be interesting.
I will say this: the Eagles did lose 2 games that I thought they would lose prior to the season. Unfortunately, they didn't lose those games the way I thought they would lose them. If that makes sense.
Right.
So it hasn't looked that good so far.
Hasn't looked that good. They haven't played a consistent game. There's not one game you can look back and say, "Hey, you know what, man? They won that with good offense and good defense today." It hasn't been like that at all. So tomorrow night is huge for them because I don't know. To me, what scares me is even if you're right about the whole locker room thing and it's not a big deal, even all that. If they lose tomorrow, all that stuff gets magnified on Monday.
I know.
It all gets magnified. It all starts. It just constantly starts. And then you have to worry about other people saying stuff. And that's what scares me more than anything.
Okay. So you're afraid of it just kind of snowballing.
Yeah. And then going, and then other people going, well, this dude said this and nobody said anything about it to him. So I'm going to say what I think. And then all of a sudden this culture is all cancerous and needs to be cut out. So yeah, I think tomorrow's win's humongous for us. I think tomorrow is huge for this team.
Yeah. They it's not a must win, but considering what's looming and coming up on the schedule, they need to win this game.
I feel like if they win this game, they're going to win the next 2 games after. I really do. I think they'll beat Buffalo and Chicago, and I think they'll go in their bye week 6-3.
It's crazy because I thought after the Green Bay game, like a big run was coming, and
me too.
I kind of feel the same way if they beat Dallas. I am very calm at the moment, which is interesting and weird because they're 3-3. Last year when they were like this early in the season, I was freaking out. And like, you guys aren't getting home field advantage. You guys are fucked. But this year I'm a lot calmer, which is interesting. I don't know what's wrong. Is there something wrong? Why?
I think you have tremendous confidence in this team. It must be. I mean, I felt great about this week until all the crap that happened yesterday. Now I'm like kind of worried.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, and then you got like Doug making the comments he made, even though it wasn't a guarantee. Like, I wish he didn't say it, because it seems like it's firing the Cowboys up a little bit, and they're trying to use it. And it's like, we don't need to give this team any other ammo.
Honestly, I loved it because of how bad the Minnesota performance was.
Right.
So because like all the fans were freaking out. All the fans were freaking out on the players, cut Sidney Jones, all that. So saying that in the heat of the moment at that particular time, 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, right after a despicable loss like that, I thought it was the right thing to do. Because it puts all the pressure on him and all the pressure off of the players.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I can see that and respect it. I can. I guess that the crap that happened the other day, just it's bothering me. It's bothering me, and I want to see how this team responds to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe they use it against them. Maybe it's what gets them going. I don't know, but it just bothers me on like a gut level.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to discuss? As we're almost an hour in here.
No, man, I'm good. I got it all out.
You got it out. You came out of the closet. You want Antonio Brown. I think you're nuts.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who agreed with you.
Really? Oh, there are
probably more people who want Antonio Brown right now than don't want Antonio Brown. So there are a lot of people in Philadelphia who are like you. They don't like the fact that the Eagles are 3-3. They want it. They want a receiver. They want it now.
They want it now, and they're willing to take this little risk, tiny risk, no risk at all, really. It's a no-brainer to me. If I was High Roseman, he'd be on an airplane right now to Philly. Have the press conference while your players are in Dallas. Do it.
I thought you were about to say have the press conference while you're on the plane.
Yeah. Well, he can't play this week. He wouldn't be eligible, but I would do it. I mean. Yeah.
All right. Well, what's your pick for tomorrow?
I got the Eagles winning. I think they're going to win a tight one. I think it's going. I thought it was going to be bigger during the week. I'm going to say 24-21 Eagles. I think they win on a late field goal.
I got 27-20. I think the Eagles are going to use the personnel and not only run all over the Cowboys, which is what we saw the Packers do and what we saw the Rams do, but the Cowboys are also 7th worst right now covering tight ends. So I'm looking at those safeties, and I'm looking at some potential mismatch problems. You line Dallas Goedert out wide. You line Zach Ertz out wide. So think about it like this, Eagles fans. 12 personnel, lots of beef in the box. You're running Jordan Howard up the middle maybe 20 times tomorrow. Well, so you're going to have all that going on. You're going to have some play action going on with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz in the 12 personnel, and that's going to open them up. So if the key to beating the Cowboys is to not attack the cornerbacks, we just did a whole show talking about how the wide receivers stink. Well, you know what? We're not even going to attack the corners. It's going to be running back up the middle, offensive line, use them, push those linebackers back because they got a lot of speed. They go sideline to sideline, but you can run straight at them. Yep. So you do that. You mix in the play action. You get Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz involved. W in Big D.
I love it. I love it. It'd be huge for us.
Yeah, I agree. There it is. All right, that's it. That's it, right? I got your final thoughts. Came out of the closet. Yeah. All right.
That's it.
Okay. There it is. Philly.500. I'm Adrian Fetchu. First bitter dingbats, I think, of the season, wasn't it? Or was it?
I think second. I think it was
second one.
First or second? We
did one earlier in this. Well, this needs to happen more because this was so much fun.
Definitely.
I'm glad we did this. And I'm glad we were able to do this as a show instead, because I didn't feel like texting back and forth arguing about Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I agree. It was good.
This was better. This was fun. All right.
Definitely.
All right, we're out of here. That's Philly.500. I'm Adrian Fetchu. Dallas still stinks, and they'll always stink.
That's right.
We'll see how long it takes to end this broadcast because my freaking stream's been lagging the entire time.
It's lagging.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, I pushed the button, and we'll see how many more seconds it takes.